Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. This side Rahul Magan here as the Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting LLP, and today we are going to discuss about our currency, who is shortly known as an American ally, which is Swiss franc, an American ally, and we are also discussing about this currency, who is the first currency who reduced the interest rate as a negative interest rate. If you correctly remember that Swiss franc was the first currency in the globe who reduced the interest rate to negative. And if you carefully recall, like several times you mentioned that International Monetary Fund 2016 meeting is going on, and in this meeting, the president of the Swiss National Bank has clearly said that he is seriously interested in cutting the interest rate to more negative territory if there is a requirement from the economy side. And let me assure you in writing that he would surely cut. Let me assure you in writing that he would surely cut. And if you look at the chart, this is a very interesting chart, and whenever I get time I always look at this chart because this chart is highly mean reverting in nature. Now, what do you mean by mean reverting in nature? That if you look at the chart, you will get to know that it is up, down, up, down, up, down and all. This phenomenon is known as mean reverting phenomena. And one contrast which we seriously need to consider in this, say this is the last 1 year chart. One contrast which we need to consider here in this, which is the contrast of I would say a reversal trend. Now, before explaining what do you mean by this, let me make a Bollinger Band for you, and then I would surely explain what do you mean by this. This is the Bollinger Band width which we taken, and this is Bollinger Bands. Now, if you carefully see this chart anywhere, you look at this chart anywhere, you will get to know that a huge, you look at this chart anywhere, you will get to know the size of this chart would always be much bigger than size you have saw in any currency, whether it is a GBP, it is a Aussie and all. I am not saying that CHF is the most volatile currency. It is the GBP who is acting as the most volatile currency, but at the same time we need to appreciate the fact that CHF is acting as an American ally, which is Swiss franc. And sitting today, $1 is approximately 0.97 Swiss franc, 0.98 Swiss franc. So roughly $1 is 98 cents of Swiss franc. Now, if you see this chart, you would get to know that this chart is highly mean reverting in nature, and the nature of mean reverting is very, very small. Like look at the any portion except this first part, except this part which is here, where the chart went very high, where it was roughly in 16th of October 2015, it was 0.94 and it rose to 0.98, except not 0.98, in fact it moves higher, and in fact it went to 1.03, and then it went sharply down. This is the period I still remember when the Swiss National Bank first introduced the policy of the negative interest rate, and it was a big scene in the market. And every time when Swiss National Bank supported the policy of the negative interest rate, the markets went down, rather it went up. But one thing which we seriously need to discuss here is that when the president of your central bank is giving a statement in the media that he is interested in cutting interest rate into more negative territory if required, then how can you be grow? Only because you are growing, because you are an American ally, and American dollar is gaining strength on paper. We know that dollar is gaining strength on paper because there is no competitor for dollar now, including Chinese yuan. Chinese yuan is still struggling from his own problems, and GBP, you know what is happening in the GBP, what is happening in the Japanese yen. So they all are struggling with their own problems. But if we see this, consider this fact, then only because of the same that dollar index is rising up. Since dollar index is rising up, so we need to consider one fact very clearly, that CHF would surely rise. But this is paradox. Why this is a paradox? Because if you are interested in cutting interest rate to negative, one side, other side your currency is gaining strength, it means you are completely dependent upon the valuation of the dollars. So the purpose of this video is to keep the exporters and the importers of the Swiss franc is that they should carefully evaluate their exposure, rather they should hedge their exposure to a certain point, because in the upcoming times dollar might be very volatile. I strongly doubt that Swiss franc is in the Federal Reserve is in the condition to increase the interest rate even in the January. But yes, I would surely appreciate the fact that they would always continue to give the hawkish tone. Here I have no doubt, not a single doubt. But at the same time, I would like to stress the fact that dollar strength might continue because the competitors are losing, and I think they are losing at a faster pace. In my opinion, that if GBP would touch 1.17 in the next 3 trading sessions, which is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then I think the dollar strength might go to 97.50, and we can clearly see that in dollar index. However, at the same time, we should also mention that we should also continue to look at the American allies. And I'm not saying that Japanese is an American ally, but if we carefully look at that, because of the comments which Kuroda gives, and also the comments from hawkish comments from Janet Yellen, and also about the weakened competitiveness of the GBP, things are a little bit scary right now, and this is something I think which we need to consider, and Swiss franc exporters need to be very, very careful in that regard. So this was the purpose of the video. Before winding up, we would like to give you the MACD as well. MACD forest we would like to give you, and which will tell you that here that Swiss franc is a buy right now, and I think since the dollar is gaining strength, I don't see that GBP would be able to recover from the big mess which has just created for GBP, and it's a hard landing of the pre-exit. I think that Swiss franc is a great buy, but to be very careful, you need to put your stop losses. Like if today it is trading at 0.9889, which is approximately 0.99, and I think at approximately $1 is equals to 1 Swiss franc, or maybe 1.01 should be the stop loss or the profit taking position for the traders. So, but we need to consider this very optimally and very carefully, and we also need to see that which all derivative instruments which are considering for that, because of course Swiss franc is a highly volatile currency, and I don't see anywhere how, like if you tell me to take bullish engulfing patterns here, then I doubt that it is able to make bullish engulfing patterns. But still, I would tend to believe that let us have one more line, which is moving average rolling, in which we are considering 21. You can see like the blue line which you can see on your computer. You can see that this is a moving average rolling, and I think that this is something credible, and I think that CHF is moving up. So one point, in my view, 1.01 should be a good target. I seriously not sure that it will reach to 1.03, because there would be huge profit taking that would happen if it reached to 1.03. So if you are a trader, who believes that things would be, if you are a trader who believes that things would, you have the exposure of Swiss franc, so please be very sincere and please be careful that anything would happen, and we're not sure about it. Basically, as the chart is very mean reverting in nature and dollar is gaining strength. So in nutshell, I think over the next course, probably next few trading sessions, I think so probably by next Friday, to be honest, 5 and 3 trading sessions of this week, 8 trading sessions would be very interesting for crosses. Of course, it is very difficult to predict how the cross would move, because a lot of meetings are happening, a lot of statements are happening across the globe, and we're not sure which way things would move. With this, we would like to thank you very much, and would bring to your notice that our website is coming, and soon you would be able to see everything on our website, wherein we are launching a lot of things. We also thank you for your support you have given us on the YouTube, and it's nice to see you. And this side Rahul Magan here from Treasury Consulting. Have a good luck.